welcome to a new week of Hawk Talk live here on 91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater, and live streaming on UWW-TV. I'm your host, Nolan Kapodowski, filling in for the great Sam Strash today. Sam will be here on Thursday. We did a little switcheroo this week, and we are here on this fine Monday talking about some sports, and there's a lot to get to. But first, how are we all doing here today? It was a warm Monday today, nearly 70 degrees. How are we all feeling on this warm Monday?
Fired up. Love
Pretty
the weather.
good.
Enjoy it.
Yeah,
Much better than the cold.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, it's going to get a little bit colder soon, but not tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be like 70 degrees. I'm really looking forward to it. Perfect Darien weather, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it is an exciting time. Who would have thought that we would see 70 degrees in February? But here we are. But let's dive right in.
How good of a thing that is, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a debate for a different type of talk show, yeah. But, yeah, we'll take it, I guess. We are forced to, so. Anyways, let's roll right into the topics here, and we got an obscure sport to start off this Monday, and I'm not sure if anybody saw it. It was posted on Barstool Sports, but ice football. Ice football as we approach springtime, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Football played on an ice rink, no skates for the players. They're just kind of slipping and sliding all over the place, but it's like a 50-yard field. And I don't know, it looks pretty exciting. If you haven't seen the clip, I would definitely go take a look at it. I mean, just look up ice football on Google and you'll find it. But did anybody get a chance to check out ice football?
One word, electric. It's amazing. Just some of the highlights that I saw from this past week is incredible. It's truly taking over the sports world right now, and I'd love to see it come to the U.S.
I know, right? I mean, it was a German clip that got played. But, yeah, I mean, United States ice football would feed families. Anybody else get a chance to check out ice football?
Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was a little silly, but it's just hockey with the football in your hand and no skates. But yeah, it looks, I would say, kind of dangerous. But I mean, football itself is dangerous, so it probably is really fun. I will say that. I've never thought about playing it on ice though.
Yeah,
I can't imagine getting tackled on ice.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Break an elbow easily.
It's got to be extremely dangerous, like falling. I mean, I understand, like, turf. Turf really isn't that much different. You got concrete under turf. People don't realize that it's literally just concrete. But yeah, I think the risk of injury would be higher and
super high.
Do you think they wear more pads on ice?
I don't think it's going to matter. You hit your head with a helmet. I mean, dude, that's smacking concrete pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're talking about concussions and stuff, but it's like, that's concussion city, it seems like, slamming your head on ice.
Yeah, or your butt. You won't be able to walk after you slip on your
Their
butt.
Their biggest advertiser is going to be CT.
Break your tailbone, yeah.
Oh, gosh, I didn't want to think about that.
I see a clip now of someone kicking extra point. As soon as they kicked it, just fell straight on their back.
Yeah.
It's comedic.
Like, that's the thing. I mean, you get to
extra points.
They kick extra points. You get to kick unimpeded, so nobody's rushing you. But I mean, it's still like a guaranteed slip every time. It seems like. And in that clip, he like doinked it off the kickers, the uprights. I mean, I guess it's no different than American football in that sense. But I mean, I personally think that this would be fun to try. Like, I think that if they brought like a little ice rink to the United States, like to Whitewater. Let's get that little ice rink that's in the park in Whitewater and just start playing ice football on it.
That would be extremely dangerous. A bunch of college kids.
Yeah, no kidding.
Doing the crazy stuff.
Yeah, that is wild. I don't know if that, I mean, realistically, though, if we were going to go into a conversation about trying to get this to be a legitimate sport, other than some leisure, maybe like MTV type look or like something like that.
ESPN Ocho or whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Kind of like
the little UWW TV truck over there, broadcast it for a night.
Yeah, but I definitely couldn't see this being something that becomes a real deal. But who knows? I don't know, man. They're always trying to make more money. So
if they can get the UFL and like the XFL and all that together, they can get ice football. You know what I'm saying? Like The Rock has to be all over this right now, I think.
He's probably getting ready to buy stock.
Yeah, exactly.
Make this a worldwide thing. He's got all the money in the world to do that.
Ice football, check it out again if you haven't. It is an obscure sport that's kind of taken the nation by storm with so many people on social media calling for it to come to the United States. We'll see if it happens, but in the meantime, we can enjoy some of those clips of people falling while they're kicking extra points and such. So On to today's topics, though, on main topics, and we're going to get started over in the NBA, where we found out this morning that the LA Clippers are going to have a new logo, new jerseys, new court, and pretty much everything new besides the name, and even that they were considering changing. This is all kind of their new look with their new stadium that they're building. And I just want to get some initial reactions. How are we feeling about this LA Clippers logo? Do we like it? Do we not like it? Is it better, worse than the last one that they had? What do we think? We'll start over here with Michael.
I think it looks pretty good, honestly. It seems a little bit more simplistic, in my opinion. I noticed that they're going for like a darker blue, which I think is intriguing, maybe to go with more like natural colors of the ocean or whatnot. I do kind of like the idea of the ship too, because again, they kind of going back to like the original like reasoning for even why they were named the Clippers in the first place. I heard like it was because of the ships that would come by through San Diego Bay, but yeah, I think it's a good move, honestly, to be in a separate stadium. I feel like it could there could be a little bit more variety between like who has the better stadium, I guess you could say, between what's the new?
The Lakers. The Lakers were the old
the,
team in there.
The Crypto.com arena now.
Yeah.
Is what they
Oh, yeah. You just call it the Staples Center. That's
Everyone
what I
knows
call it,
that.
yeah.
Besides probably the newer kids that's gonna grow up, but everybody else knows that.
It's like Miller Park is Miller Park, you know what I'm saying? That's not
I'll never
AmFam
call it
Field.
American ever.
Yeah, but all right, so we have one person who likes it, and Jalen, are you going to concur, or how you feel about this logo?
I'm kind of like in between. I mean, I like the current logo they have, in my opinion, but I don't see nothing wrong with a new change, new stadium, new court, new everything coming new. Might as well change something and try to, bring in revenue and be like, oh, well, we're going to go in this direction this time, and things like that. So really, I mean, it's pretty much like a rebranding deal or something like that. So I don't got no problem with it.
Yeah, it is, it's kind of where most teams will usually change their logos is when they get to like that new stadium or whatnot, and just trying to differentiate from the old stuff.
Yeah.
Nazir, how you feeling about this?
See, only reason I'm not even like basing it off of the look of it. I'm just basing it off of their like just their culture change over there as a team, and they're trying to do everything possible to just be not included with the Lakers anymore. They're trying to have their own name, their own stadium, their own area, and what they're trying to do. I read something or I saw something a few weeks ago that in their stadium. I saw a video of their stadium that they're making, and there's a section where you can't root for the other team or something like that. And if you have to be like a true Clippers fan to sit there, and you can only root for the Clippers. And if you, so you get kicked out if you cheer for the other team or something like that.
Isn't that crazy? Like, how are they going to enforce that?
I have no idea how they're going to enforce that, but I'm sure all the fans will, do what they got to do to help out the team win.
Yeah, right.
Which I can see. I mean, they're asking Kawhi for a lot of opinions because that's their guy. So they're trying to do everything possible to just be different, and I think they're going to succeed. So I like the change. I like the logo change. I don't know about the name change, though. I don't know if they need to change the name. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what they'd be called. Like, I saw a name called like the Los Angeles Beaches or something like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. It was probably a
Stars.
better idea that they
Yeah.
decided to just stick with the Clippers, because like I don't know why they were considering changing the name, but
Well, I don't even know what the Clippers means anyways, but like there's no point in changing it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this logo will like help people. Like a lot of people understand. I'm sure like a lot of people are in that same boat where they like didn't know what Clippers meant, and
Yeah.
like now it's like, oh yeah, Clippers a ship, but like who was like, oh yeah, ships when they thought of
Yeah, I
Clippers,
don't
you
even
know?
Not a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, right.
I thought it meant giving haircuts personally.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't
Exactly.
mind if they
Great
changed to, like,
clips.
the Los Angeles Waves or something. I mean, I don't know.
It wouldn't be
I guess that
bad.
rolls off the tongue a little
Get
bit.
some like baby blue or like
Yeah.
tropical blue in there. That'd be like a Dolphins blue. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Brendan, what were your thoughts on this change?
I'm all for it. So when you think Los Angeles in terms of basketball, you think of the Lakers, and the Clippers, since they moved there, have been kind of under their shadow. This is tremendous. I love the whole rebranding. I love the new identity that they're going to be taking on. Moving to a new arena, especially to Nazir's point, that section looks electric. 51 rows, only Clippers fans allowed. Like I said, I'm not sure how they're going to enforce that, but that could be the start of a new trend in the NBA, really enforcing like a fan, like your own extreme fan section,
Right,
to
fan
really,
only.
to really kind of reinforce home court advantage. But just looking at some of these new uniforms, very simplistic. I love the color scheme. I love the new logo, and I really like
what Steve Ballmer and the Clippers are doing. We actually have an owner that's invested in caring for his team. I'm a Grizzlies fan personally, and Robert Pera, he's got the money, but he's never had any games. He hardly comes to any playoff games, and it just seems like there's a lack of, like, kind of a disconnect between
Right.
the owner and the team. And I personally am a fan of the guys like Mark Cuban, Steve Ballmer, that are just fans of the game. They're there every game. They're supporting the team that they own. And I love how he's making this Clippers go from, like I said, the little brother of Los Angeles to now a rival. It's awesome. It's really good to see.
Yeah, he's trying to branch out into that, like, you know, be their own separate team. And I mean, how many bathrooms they got in that stadium? Like, I think they were bragging about that. I forget how many bathrooms they got in there, but there are so many. He's like, Steve Ballmer was getting up there at like a press conference, like, you'll never have to wait in line at a bathroom again at the Clippers game or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool changes. I'm excited to see that stadium in action. Nick, what were your thoughts on the Clippers' new logo, new jerseys, new everything?
By the way, it's 640 restrooms.
That's crazy.
I'm
That's
super
amazing.
stoked about this. I am one of few Clipper fans you'll ever meet. Been a Clippers fan since
Lob
the
City.
beginning
Lob
of my
City
time.
days.
Before that, I was there with Sean Livingston, Eric Gordon.
Ooh.
Way
in the
back
day.
when.
I think this is awesome. This is so cool. I'm really, really excited about specifically the color rebranding. I think the navy blue scheme they're going with is actually really clean. I think it kind of gets them into their own thing too, because like you said, not a lot of people know what a clipper is. A clipper is a vessel, predominantly a naval vessel, and you know that derived from all those vessels coming in off the coast of San Diego with the original, obviously, California team.
Right.
I think it's awesome. I think that that whole section is going to be so sweet. The total, I think it's going to be the largest
Yeah, it's like the largest.
in the state,
Yeah.
in the entire league. It holds almost 18,000
Yep.
people.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
I don't know how they're
crazy.
going to fill that. I do know that there is a big fan base. They always say, "Oh, everyone's a Lakers fan in
Nah.
California." All this.
There's plenty of Clipper
Clippers
fans.
have,
Yeah. Have some
have
fans,
quite the fan base, and let alone reaching out over to Wisconsin. I'm still here. I think specifically, I like how they kept the look of the cursive. I think for the Clippers itself, I think that's classic. I think when I think Clippers, I think Lob City. That's the first thing you think of, anyone. And I like how they're going back to red. I think
That's a really
they
good idea.
needed to go back to a red alternate. It is so clean, and I think the red with the navy blue is going to be perfect. So
Why'd they get rid of that? Did they like ban it or something?
Well,
'Cause
no,
I know
they-
they banned the Bucks like cream jerseys. I know that.
Yeah, no, they did do that, but I do remember that that red jersey. They barely played in it too. It was with Lob City.
Yeah.
I'd always see DeAndre Jordan in it because he was posterizing everybody in front of him. But yeah, like I said, I think it's really, really good for the brand. I think it's awesome for the Clippers, and they'll be hosting a banner in that new stadium next year. So I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with everybody. I'm welcome to the change. I did like the last logo that they had. I thought it was really nice. But I will say that the logo is just, I mean, it's just a tad simplistic. I know I like the ship and everything in it. I feel like it's like almost like a transition logo. Like I could see them making a new logo again in like maybe 5 years down the line. But I like it. I especially like the switch to the color scheme. I think that the dark blue, like everybody kind of talked about, and the red, very cool. I like the court a lot more too. I think that court is really clean, and that Intuit Dome. I like the coordinates on it too. I think that just overall the whole court is super clean there. You know, and the logo, adding the ship in is like I would always play 2K, and I would always like adjust I would like make new logos for teams and stuff like that, and I would always try to find a Clippers one with like a ship in it or something like that.
I just think it's a little better than this, if we can agree. I just think that's a little too bland.
Yeah.
I just
Boring,
Think,
yeah.
I think it's boring, man. You got LAC inside of a basketball.
Mhm.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't get much more basic than that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think, and I mean, again, it's all about like kind of transitioning away from that era, because if you think back to the Clippers logo even before that one, I mean, it was very, very similar to the Lakers. You had like the lines behind it, the basketball in it. It was the same kind of font. Like it almost looked like a replica, except in the Clippers form. So I like that better when they went to that basketball logo. But you're right, it is basic one. So, you know, adding the ship, adding the C into it, I think it's really cool. But yeah, I mean, then we're going to talk about that name change that almost happened, because they almost weren't called the Clippers anymore. They were seriously considering changing the name. So, I mean, I think that, is there anybody opposed? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody's under the general consensus that Clippers, sticking with the Clippers was the right move.
I
Is it-
agree.
Yeah,
You
I don't
can't
think
get rid
they-
of it. Because let's even go back. The only other time they weren't the Clippers was when they were the Braves.
Mhm.
That was the only time. And I don't think it's smart, especially with a brand in California, Los Angeles. You can't continuously change these things over and over and over again. Lakers have been the Lakers since the beginning of time.
Right.
That-
Even when they were Minnesota.
Even when they were Minnesota. So you need to find that identity. You got to stick with it. And then you got to try to get some championships. Because the other guys across town got 17 of them. So
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta win something, man. I mean, I think their fan base is probably huge now with the big four they have now, really. And after that Western Conference Finals they made, even though Kawhi didn't really play that year, but I mean, it
just breaks my heart because they beat the Jazz in that series.
Yeah, no.
are you a Jazz fan?
Besides the Bucks, the Jazz are my
Oh,
next
dear
team. So that was
God.
like the year I thought I was like, it's gonna be Jazz Bucks all the way, and then
Donovan Mitchell's on that team.
I just
Jazz were the
stabbed
one
at the
seed that
heart.
year.
Yeah, they were. That was like their best year.
That's
With Quinn
crazy.
Snyder.
That proved that small ball works against Rudy Gobert, and that's why
Yeah.
I don't understand how the Minnesota Timberwolves are the 1 seed. Just saying, that's another thing that we could get onto.
Anthony Edwards.
Rudy Gobert, one of the best defenders. I mean, this is another discussion, but one of the best defenders of all time inside the perimeter. But perimeter defense,
He gets
good
cooked.
luck. He gets cooked.
He does get cooked.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean, I also agree. I think the Clippers was the right move to stick with the Clippers. But one thing that I was going to say is that if they really wanted to differentiate it, if they could like even just move away from Los Angeles, that way you're like not connected at all to LA. You
San
could just call
Diego.
yourself the California Clippers,
Go to
dude.
San Diego. I'm
California
Turn
Clippers
back to
would be
San
nice.
Diego
I think it would be
Clippers.
cool.
Well, yeah, since they're going to Inglewood, right? So
Right.
that's where I think the new name is. I think that's when the possibilities start coming in because they're gonna have to involve Inglewood.
Right?
They can't be the LA Clippers.
Waves.
You
Tell
can't.
me. The LA Waves.
So I think maybe you because I don't know if Inglewood's a big enough brand, right?
It's probably not. Oh yeah, I
They're
agree.
not
It's
gonna
probably
be
not a
the-
big enough
yeah,
brand.
That's where the
yet.
Rams play.
They're not going to be the
Yeah.
Inglewood,
The
etc.
Inglewood Clippers.
You know, so like I said, I still do think there's a lot of change coming.
Inglewood smoke shows.
Right? Because if you smoke it in the playoffs, somebody smokes at me. Somebody
Inglewood
smokes at
Stars. You
Inglewood.
can see a lot of stars in Inglewood.
The Stars would be a good
Stars, celebrity wise, and when you look up.
Inglewood
Yeah.
Stars.
I'm telling you.
I just think California Clippers. You don't even have to mess with the city or at all. It's just
Yeah, mess with the
California.
state, though.
I guess the
Yeah.
only problem with that is there's we got 4 NBA teams in California.
It's like
Yeah.
4 or 5. You got the
Yeah.
Lakers,
Sacramento,
Clippers,
the
Bay.
Warriors.
Kings.
Kings. I think that was all 4 of
Lakers,
them.
Warriors. Yeah, and they're all
Yeah,
in the
Lakers,
same
Warriors,
division.
All in the same division,
Sacramento.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, throw the Clippers down there in San Diego.
I'm
That's where they
saying,
were.
dude.
That's where they were.
Because it is
really
spread
had
it.
to
It is
do it.
spread it out across the whole state. There's
San
nothing
Diego
down there in
deserves-
Southern Cal.
San Diego deserves a sports team. I
Yeah,
don't
right.
think
After they
will.
got the Chargers
This
ripped
guy's
from
a
them.
Chargers fan.
No, they just do. It's a have you been to San Diego? It's,
San
Oh,
Diego.
I've
San Diego
been
deserves
multiple
it.
times.
Just like Miami.
exactly, it's a beautiful city.
It's
It's up there. It's up there with Miami.
Maybe I'm biased. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I have a anti-bias because when I was in the military, we'd have to go to the
Yeah,
San Diego base.
my cousin was
I
out there
hated
too.
it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. He said the same thing. I just
no
love it
doubt.
over there.
All right, yeah. So that is the new Clippers. We'll see. We'll keep track and see if they make any more changes. But a new era coming to LA in terms of the Clippers, and like Nick said, hopefully for Clipper fans, they can raise that banner. They're certainly looking really good right now. So
I'm hoping for Clippers Bucks so I can go watch I can come up to Milwaukee and watch a playoff game. That would be pretty.
Heck yeah.
Pretty nice.
get the Deer District back rolling. That was something when it was going in 2021.
I think it'll get back now that we got,
Dame.
Here's hoping.
yeah.
Doc's starting to find our chemistry a little bit, but
I wasn't
It's
worried.
the same story.
It's
Like I
Doc.
said,
Oh, it
we've been on this topic about
I'm not
Doc.
worried though, man. I'm just not.
Exactly. You got no reason to be worried, bro. They have now what was it 5? They're 5-2 in their last 7, and
They were 3 and
they've had
7
5
before.
games now where they've held them under 100 points.
yep.
Yeah.
And they only did that once with.
But the past 15 games, they're 6th ranked in defense. So that's the only reason I'm not worried because they've risen so high. I think they're 10th overall now, but
Their
the past
defense has
15 games they've
improved
been
tremendously.
6th.
Yep.
So
They'll be
And they're
just-
beating quality teams. I mean, it just, we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but the Doc Rivers thing is it was kind of a really hard spot to be put into. It's like, hey, You're our new coach. We just fired a guy who had won us 30 games out of the 43 we had played. And here's our toughest road schedule, our toughest road stretch of the entire season. Like, go win us some games.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you're kind of setting them up to fail at that point. But hopefully, it seems to be working out a little bit better. We'll see. We'll see as the season continues.
Well, we're getting into the best time of the year for me. This is
Absolutely.
the best. This is the best basketball outside of playoffs to watch. After the All-Star breaks, things start heating up.
Yep.
Those standings
It's the
start
best brand
moving
of
like this.
sports.
And you
in
got
general.
March-
You got baseball coming back soon.
March
Yep.
Madness is going to be starting
March
in about a
Madness.
month.
March is by far
Olympics
my favorite
this summer?
month
It's
of
just
sports.
awesome, yeah.
It's gonna be.
It's going to be
great.
crazy.
And hopefully warm soon.
And then they want us to watch the UFL or whatever it is.
No.
Like, hey, nobody's watching
Pass.
that.
Still got UFC fights coming up
Yeah.
too.
UFC 300 next month. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move from the from the topic of professional basketball and move into college basketball, but not really talking about March Madness or anything like that. We're actually going to be talking about an issue that was that has been kind of brought up within the last month or two, and now is even more at the forefront after Duke player Filipowski got hurt. He sprained his ankle after fans stormed the court when Wake Forest defeated Duke. And now there's a fair amount of people calling for the banning of court stormings and that it shouldn't be allowed at all. So the questions I wanted to ask all of you is, one, what do you think about this? Do you think that court storming should be banned or not? Two, do you think that if it should be banned, do you think it can even be enforced? And three, is this kind of taking the fun out of college basketball, or is this a legitimate safety concern for players? And we'll start over here on the other end with Nick.
I do not believe it should be banned. I think it's kind of a tradition in most regards for big games in basketball and for rivalry games. I think the whole injury thing, I think you should know if you lose in an opposing team's arena in a big game, you might just want to get off the court. I think that should be your first. Why are you standing around in the middle of the court?
Right.
You can see that everyone in the entire stadium within 100 yards of your parameter is going to be running towards the center court, right?
Get out of Dodge.
Just get out of Dodge and stop making these excuses that you got hurt. He did not get hurt. He was mad they got lost. He played a terrible game. Come on. Let's be real here. This whole thing, this is not the first time a basketball player has been touched by a fan during this time either. This is just getting a little crazy, and now it's just more topics for ESPN and things like that to talk about too.
For Hawk Talk.
And for Hawk Talk too. I just think it's one of those things where it's tradition. Keep it. Let's move on. Figure it out. And if you were to try to enforce that, good luck, because
Yeah. Keep 10, 20,000 people off the court. Yeah, good luck.
Exactly.
Brendan, your thoughts on
And
this?
I agree 100%. Filipowski played not one of his finer performances of the season, and I mean, in the heat of the moment, the loss, there's actually video footage before the injury occurred where he tried to actually push a fan, and I think it's just an excuse put together by him and effort to stop it. There was 3 separate posts made on Instagram by different media outlets, and he commented on every single one of them saying it's time to stop, which I was like, it doesn't get much cornier than that.
Yeah, right.
If you wanted to actually address the issue, make a speech about it, don't just comment. It's time for change needs to happen. When I watch college basketball, I love seeing a team like Kentucky or North Carolina or Duke on the road in a conference game against an unranked, team fighting for an NCAA tournament berth. And it's like Nick said, it's tradition. If a team wins a big game at home, I think if their fans in the college basketball atmosphere have every right to storm the court.
Right.
And like I said, once again, what Nick said, just get off the court. Like he said, you know everyone in the arena is going to. And what are you going to do as security to do a preventative measure? Because you really can't penalize the team, with a point deduction or a technical foul or anything like that, because in the end, it's not them doing it, it's their own audience. So to Nick's point earlier, just get off the court if you know what's going to happen. I think it should stay in college basketball. I think that's what makes college basketball so great. And I just think Filipowski was just a sore loser in the moment.
And what do we think about that post-game interview too of him? People are coming at him on purpose. Is that what was going on? I wanna hear
It's the
their
kids
opinions.
want to celebrate. There was no ill will. There was no ill intent. It's just celebrating a big win. Wake Forest is, one of those bubble teams for the tournament. It was a huge
Right.
win for them against an 8th-ranked team at home. It'll stay in college basketball for now and for always. It's unfortunate Filipowski truly is injured that happened, but like I said, just get off the court after your loss and suck it up and move on to the next game.
He's not.
Exactly. And it was a sprained ankle. I mean, like not dissing a sprained ankle because I know how bad that they can hurt, but like, come on, dude. It's like you didn't break anything,
Yeah.
or come on. Nazir, concur with everybody.
Yeah, I agree. My only thing is, well, just my whole general idea of it. Like when I saw the comments that he made, I was just like, holy soft. Like, what are we?
Yeah,
Holy
right.
soft.
What are we talking about
Right.
right now? Because
Trademark.
like when I think of sports, and you're like an unranked team, and you're playing, your tails off to beat a ranked team, a top 10 ranked team. You should be able to celebrate that. I mean,
100%.
that's literally all sports is. Like you have a bunch of fans that dedicate their time to come support the team that they love. And if you win a huge game, even if it's not a championship game, like you have the rights to do that, especially if the school or, arena or whatever, if they allow you to, then I mean, why not? I mean, just get off the court, I just walk off the court. Or if they want to make it, less possible for players to get hurt, just have the players leave the court after they, say good game or whatever, and then after that, go ahead. But
Yeah.
at this point, it's just like, dude, like we can't get rid of every tradition that we grew up watching on,
Right.
So it's just it just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't like that. I was very upset when I saw that. I was just like, dude, come on.
Like it's a
That's pathetic.
staple of like somebody hits a buzzer beater, immediately just fans pour onto the court. Like that's
Yeah.
just that's what makes some of those moments so good because
Yeah.
like the fan like in front of a home crowd, like one of the best buzzer beaters I've ever or like I didn't see it, but I've seen like replays of is when Indiana beat like #1 Kentucky, I think
Oh,
it
that's
was.
Exactly the one
Dude,
that's in
that's
my
like
And-
one of the yeah.
Yeah, it's like the classic, and then just fans immediately pour onto the court. It's like, like it would be cool, but like, would it be as cool if it was just like all the players were just shaking hands and they were like, "No, don't come on the court."
Not yet.
No, I don't think so.
I just think it's like a fun thing to just experience. If you're there, it's like a fun thing to just watch. I mean, it's one of the only sports you can really do it in too. So it's
Yep.
not like you can storm a football field right after they score a touchdown. Usually they don't allow that, but
Right.
I mean,
Only a few
seriously,
times
I
you
mean,
see
if you're-
that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
if you're
like
like a-
college too. as
yeah,
well.
if you're like a smaller team, like say if you're like Drake University and you beat like Dukers, like Duke,
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, you have the right to do that. I don't know. I think it's really stupid to not allow that or to say it needs to stop just because they lost. Every time Duke loses, they want to change something. So
Jalen, you on the same page here?
I actually got mixed feelings about it though. I'm gonna always take the side of an athlete. If you getting injured, I'm always think it's like real since me being an athlete and injuries like that ain't nothing to play with for real. But also at the same time, it's like you should like from the way the angle I seen it, he was going after the ball and he was on the other side of the court, and it looked like he was walking off, but he did walk off like pretty slow though. I ain't gonna lie, but. Yeah, if you are on the other side of the ball and you see that the ball is already got by the other team, just get off the court. But, yeah, I mean, as it's taking it away, no, you can't take that away, though.
That's what I'm
not gonna
saying,
lie, You
like-
can't take that. That's like moments for, like, teams like Ohio State when they beat Michigan State. Say if Ohio State was at home, they probably would have stormed the court against
Yep.
Michigan State. A rivalry game, things like that. But as of, like, him being injured and things like that, I think we need to really keen in and make sure the buzzer sounds because they were on the floor before the clocks hit 0. So that was the problem that everyone is talking about. They were on the floor before it actually hit 0.
and
So
that's like understandable, I
Yeah.
guess. You're not supposed to run unless the clock hits until the clock hits 0.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Still,
yeah,
dude,
You got a bunch
it's
of
tough.
come on.
Yeah, it's
You know,
tough.
just
It's
like
like,
game
dude,
over. Let's
the
rush
game's
this court,
over.
bro.
Like
Yeah.
you're rolling out the ball,
Yeah.
you're just dribbling it out.
And you're trying to get out there as fast as you can, bro.
Right.
You want to be the first one.
You got a bunch of inebriated college
Yeah.
kids in the student section too. It's just like they're not going to wait. Like they don't care about the clock. They're
Yeah,
just ready
true,
to
yeah.
celebrate
Exactly.
and stuff. So,
They're ready to have a
Party.
good time after
Right.
a nice win.
and I mean,
once you saw you didn't catch the ball, then it's time to just get off the floor. But
Yep.
I mean, he did kind of like walk off slow after I seen it, but
I just think his reaction is just like, come
the
on,
top.
bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, you lost. Chill out.
yeah,
Yeah,
Figure it
that's,
out.
that's what I'm saying. It's a
Exactly.
sore loser mindset at
Yeah.
that point. Like I understand, like
Like,
being
he
an
would-
athlete as well. It's like I understand it from an athlete's perspective, but from an outside perspective, it
Yeah.
seems more, legit. Like,
As a fan,
I mean,
it's like it's different. It's
Weird.
two totally different experiences for
Yeah.
both sides.
Like,
so.
I'm sure he wouldn't have had a problem if it was Duke beating,
what I'm
whoever.
saying.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he
If
wouldn't,
Duke
he
beat
wouldn't be
North
talking
Carolina.
about it, yeah.
come on now.
Yeah.
It's always Duke though. It's literally always Duke.
How many times does Wake Forest get to storm the court now? Come on, give them that.
Maybe
Never,
Chris
never.
Paul was there.
I've
Yeah.
never seen that.
Tim Duncan.
Yeah, probably Tim Duncan. That's literally what it is.
Michael, any final thoughts on this topic here before we move on?
The only thing I can say is, like, in theory, it's not really a bad idea. I mean, especially because there's plenty of other leagues where they kind of do a better job of enforcing that. Like, obviously, you won't see that in the NBA much. You won't see it in the NFL or even, like, at the MLB, obviously. But personally, no, I don't think it should be. Are you kidding me? Like, I just think it makes the moment more epic. Like, you go on, and it really, like, especially, like, post-game, and then you're, like, saying, like, even you're on the TV and you're, like, watching the game, you get to see them, like run onto the court. Like, sometimes even when you're watching there, you get the feeling, like, especially if you're rooting for that team, like, you want to go on there and you're imagining doing that yourself.
It's just part of the magic of college basketball, I think. And like I said, I mean, I don't think he'd have any problem with it if it was Duke on the other end. It's just the fact that, his team lost to Wake Forest, and it's like that Wake Forest is a bubble team, like you said. They're right on the cusp of whether or not they're going to make the tournament. So this was a huge win for them, and you just got to understand that they're going to celebrate. And it's like, just put up with it. Like, it's been happening for decades. This is not nothing new. This is not like this is a new trend or anything like that. Like, this has been happening for so long.
Exactly.
The fact that you are just like, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is, I understand. I think I've also been an athlete. I think that player safety, huge aspect of it. But I don't think that this could even be enforced if they did try to,
Yeah.
get something in place. I just don't think that it would happen.
Well, that's like, remember the North Carolina Villanova championship with Jenkins hitting the
Yeah.
game three? Imagine how different that celebration would have been if nobody could get on the court.
Right.
Right.
Jenkins for the championship. Oh, you look
Handshakes.
around.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
The
weird.
crowd-
No
the
one
crowd
actually
still would've
stormed the
been
court for that, though. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, but that was all of the what's it called? That was all the bench. That was like all the
Yeah.
cameras.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
everyone
Okay, yeah.
just
I see
goes.
what you're saying.
It
Yeah,
just has
Yep.
that.
The media was
the
a big one that
NCAA
kind of
final.
stormed the court there.
So I mean, kind of like to that point, if you get rid of the court storm in college football, are you going to start telling all the media members in the Super Bowl to not rush the field? I mean, at some point,
Right.
like when is the line going to be drawn?
Exactly. I mean, Tennessee literally like broke their goalpost when they won because there were
beat
so many
Bama.
fans on the field. Like when they beat
I don't
Bama.
think they beat Alabama at home in like a decade.
Yeah,
Even
and it's just
longer than
like,
that, I believe it was.
how are you going to possibly stop that when there's that many people,
Can't.
going down?
Take the loss.
Why
and
don't we
move
see
on.
more court storming in other divisions though? We don't see that in D2, D3, NAI.
Well, Whitewater
Yeah.
bans it. I know Whitewater has actually banned it. As they always make that announcement after the games. They're like, fans are not allowed onto the field after the game. And I always thought that was like, I'm like,
That's silly.
You know-
Well, I mean, I can see that for football. I mean, we're like Alabama in football. We're expected to win every game we're at home. But I'm talking about like basketball or
yeah,
something like that. Like, and when the men won the WEAC tournament, if they was at home, we can't run on there. We'd be with them and like,
Right.
they're like our buddies. We literally go to parties together.
Right.
I literally think basketball in particular is the best
for court storming?
Yeah.
for court storming because, bro, for football, real talk, as a fan, you can actually get really hurt. The fan can get hurt.
Right.
You're running onto a football field, especially if it's like somewhat inclement weather happened during, bro, you're gonna slip.
yep,
Achilles, ACL. You ever ran on a football field in just plain shoes when it's a little wet?
yeah, it's slippery.
Not a good
It's
sign.
slick.
Yeah.
And then if one person falls with the
Yeah.
outpouring of fans, I can understand. It's
Well, and
just-
I mean, a football player doesn't see you or something, runs in, like getting hit by full pads when you have
Derek
nothing on.
Fender
That would be
go to
so.
the locker room.
Yeah, that would be tough. But yeah, I think we're all kind of in agreement that, as much as we all respect player safety and stuff like that, court storming, it's got to stay. It's got to stay for the tradition, and hopefully we'll see some more as we wrap up the college basketball season and head into March Madness.
So excited.
So excited! It's going to be very
We
cool.
gotta make up some brackets for this
Oh,
too.
don't you worry, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
Speaking of March Madness, our women is hosting.
Yep. Chris will probably talk about that tomorrow. The women's and men's selection shows
Excited.
happened earlier today. The women got in, and they will
crazy.
host. They're going to host
Did
this
not see that coming.
Friday. The men did not
Especially
make the
host.
tournament, but that was to be expected. But yeah, So very exciting stuff. 3 WEAC teams in the women's bracket.
That's
Stout,
crazy. That's
Whitewater,
big. That's
and
a
Oshkosh.
big thing that
Yep.
a lot of people are saying around. That's buzzing around.
Yep. All right, but we got to move on here now to our final topic of the day. And even though it's a couple months away, we're going to get into our first mock draft of the season for the NFL because it's about that time. We're going to be doing one on each show, and we're going to have to take some breaks through a couple weeks for that March Madness bracket picking session. So what better time now to start? And, obviously this is all going to move around, and there's going to be so many different rumors flying around about teams, and the picks are going to change a million times. But that's the fun of doing a bunch of different ones. So we're going to do Mondays this week, Tuesdays next week, etc. Wednesdays the week after that. You get the picture there. So we have all been assigned picks. We're going to go in order here. It's not like a snake.
Nah,
So
I
we're-
see what y'all doing.
we're
Let
gonna
the
s-
Bears away from me.
I was trying to give everybody their teams, but it just got way too confusing with we're gonna come back here and then so
Right.
and that way there's no favoritism and stuff
Right.
like that. I don't get the Packers. Nazir doesn't get the Chargers. Did I hit anybody's favorite teams? Did I give them any?
Yeah, you gave me Green Bay.
Somebody had to do the Packers, so
And
He
he's
got
got the
the
Titans,
Bears,
too.
too.
The
Bears
Titans.
and
Yeah, I got
He's got
his
all of our
favorite
teams.
teams. I got
The
his
Cowboys are my
favorite team.
hometown
Patriots
team, but
and the
they're not my
Bears.
favorite anymore.
Yeah.
I got my least favorite team.
Well, nonetheless,
Bro, I had
nonetheless,
freaking the Cardinals.
we will
Everybody
be
else might play off.
we will be picking for teams. So we're gonna go in this order: Nick, Brendan, Nazir, Jalen, Michael, and myself, and then we're gonna just go right back around. It's gonna be a big circle. So
I like it.
Nick will have pick 1, then pick 7, then pick 13, etc. 2, 8, etc. We get the picture.
Quick question.
Yes.
Are we drafting as if we're the general manager of the team or what we'd like to see happen?
General manager of the team, try to get the realistic pick as if you were trying to make a mock draft. What you thought was going to happen.
So
Nazir.
no trades, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Nah,
Because the Bears are going to trade the third.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's going to be trades. Don't get me wrong. Just for simplicity, we're gonna have no trades. Maybe we can make another one where we do implement some trades. But just so things don't get too sticky right now, right off the bat for our first one, we'll keep it no trades. Everybody stays where they're at, and we're gonna go in order here. So without further ado, Nick, start us off. You have the Bears' first pick at number 1 overall. Who do you got?
Well, then, since we're not doing trades or anything like that, I'm not going to pick what everyone thinks it's going to be if I were to do the trade, but we're going to keep it normal. My first pick is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay,
No way.
they pass
Yes,
up
They
on
love him too much.
Caleb
They love
Williams.
too much.
And that means that he is there for the taking. Brendan, if you would like the Commanders to take him, if you think that's going to happen.
So I was kind of banking on you taking Caleb Williams, and I was going to say that the Commanders should select the real best quarterback in the draft class in Jaden Daniels. But if we're doing it as if this actually occurred, I guess the Commanders would take Caleb Williams then too.
Commanders will take
I'm not high on Caleb Williams at all. I do think the Bears should go MHJ at number 1 if they do stay at number 1. But if Caleb Williams does fall to number 2, Commanders have their new franchise quarterback. And
Yeah, they're
adios,
picking him
Sam
up.
Howell.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. I personally think that the Bears' best option would also be to draft Marvin
I
Harrison
agree,
Jr.
But I don't think they will.
But I don't think they will. I
gonna
think
trade
that they're
the two
going to.
guys.
They're
truly
getting
think they'll do
Caleb
it. I'm a
Williams.
Packers
I think-
fan here.
I
Real
think
talk.
Caleb
I hope they
Williams
do.
is
It's just smart enough.
incredibly overrated.
I just don't understand why people keep thinking Fields is the problem.
He's not.
He's not, but the
No,
Bears
he's
think he
not.
is. I feel like
How can you say that?
I just do it to make you mad.
I don't know. How can people say that? Like,
he hasn't gotten an opportunity with a great team yet
He's
to
on the
like
Bears.
really.
The only-
Who does he had to throw to this year? He had
DJ Moore.
halfway
DJ
decent
Moore.
Cole Kmet
Cole
and
Kmet.
DJ Moore. That was it. Like
the problem
it's
is
not
their
even about that. It's the
offensive
offense.
line.
No, offensive line?
And
Yeah.
you're not
No,
drafting-
He has
you're not
no
drafting
time to
linemen.
throw the
We're not at
football.
one.
Where's
Not
Tariq
at
Cohen?
When you look at
Yeah.
that Packers game, the minute he hiked the ball, there was like, what was that? Rashawn Gary was in his face.
Yep. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, and that's what so many quarterbacks, that's what we were talking about on Thursday last week. So many quarterbacks just don't have any time to throw the ball, and these rookies just are thrown in there with this terrible offensive line, and
That's
it's like,
why we
save our
see-
franchise.
That's why
Like,
we see the same 5 teams in the top 10 every year.
And it's
Exactly.
Bryce Young,
Yeah.
how it is
You
to have a
actually have to
line.
execute a proper rebuild.
Yep.
And give them protection.
like Bryce Young has no line. I said,
I feel bad for him.
I don't know if this is like a hot take or not, but I said if you switched around C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, that Bryce Young would have been the rookie of the year this year and would have.
No,
Would have
I don't
had-
see that.
Let's not get carried away.
Puka
I-
would have won it
I
this
don't
year.
know.
Dude, I think
like
that-
the take. I do. I really do. But I just don't think they're at the same level. I don't. I
No,
think
don't. Yeah.
Young would have a great year. for sure.
Yeah, he
Right.
had a good
That's what I'm
year.
saying. I
It's
think that
just
he would've had a
Stroud
good year.
Is a lot bigger.
I don't think he
would have won it this year. Then
Puka
if that
would've
was the
won it.
case.
I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have like been as good as C.J. Stroud was. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if Bryce Young would have won a playoff game or necessarily even led him to the playoffs.
Exactly.
But Bryce Young would have had a
Oh,
much
he-
better year, and
I
C.J.
just-
Stroud would have been. I don't think he would have sniffed the Rookie of the Year conversation because you just can't really succeed as a quarterback if you don't have an O line.
I can
I
see
mean,
that.
And I'll say this as well. Jordan Love is already better than C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, he is.
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
and
That's
they.
not even a debate.
But what do they have?
I'd
Like,
say
they,
it's like
talking about it because of
50-50.
the-
You
It's
could-
close.
It's like a
like
hat toss.
It's like 60-40.
I don't know.
It's like a
That's-
toss-up,
I think
in my
that's.
opinion.
I think Jordan Love's got it. But again,
Jordan Love's better.
he has an offensive line. He has a good offensive line. So, if you switch him, Stroud and, Bryce Young, for example, like what happens? I don't, it's a debate for another time. But anyways, let's continue on as we are here with the Patriots now, and Nazir gets to pick for the Pats, new
See,
coach.
So, as I've been saying, people around the league have been saying that J.J. McCarthy's this, he is the best quarterback in the draft class.
You
But
better not,
No.
bro.
I don't think they're gonna get him. I think
Oh,
they're
okay, I'm
gonna,
about to say.
No, I don't think they're gonna get him. I was stuck between him, but my actual pick would probably be Drake May. They'd have to go with him. I don't know. He's, in my opinion, I don't really like him that much. He's kind of like another Daniel Jones, but they have to pick him because he's a great quarterback. He's great talent. They
I
kind of
like-
need something like that. So
Yeah, I like May better than Daniels per se. I think that was a little wild that you said Jane Daniels was the best quarterback in the draft.
no, I don't think so. I'm just saying that's what people
No,
around
yeah.
the league have been saying. Like like there's whispers about him being the best quarterback in the draft,
Well,
and I was like, wow.
not
yeah.
J.J. McCarthy for sure, but you said Jaden Daniels you think is the best one in the draft.
I 100% believe that.
I-
I think Caleb Williams is highly overrated.
Oh,
Not
yeah, I think-
I do too. I don't think he's a that-
overrated, but I just think he's more like. I think it's just think that he needs to go to the right situation.
I agree.
I think he'll be a good quarterback, but he
He
is
can't go
not
to a
this
team-
like top prospect that everybody's saying. He's
I just
like-
don't see him going to a team like the Bears or the Patriots, and he's just going to end up being like,
Right.
oh, he's the next Drew Brees.
Yeah, it's
like it's
crazy.
not going to happen, bro. No.
So, anyways, yeah, I think the Patriots are like people are stuck on them with JJ McCarthy because they're in love with the Michigan quarterback, like
Yeah.
Tom Brady. He went to
Exactly.
Michigan. We want JJ McCarthy.
They could go that route. Not gonna lie. So.
If they went at 3, I mean, that would just be like trade back at
Man,
that
that's
point. You know what I'm
asinine,
saying?
In my opinion, if they do that, That's
Trade
crazy.
back.
Just for the record, so that we can explain as well why I did pick him to go 1, Marvin Harrison. They're not going to have the first pick. They're going to trade so
Yeah.
that they get a lineman and Marvin Harrison
Yeah.
in like back-to-back picks.
One can hope.
Just
I
so
don't
you
know.
The
I-
Bears. That's what they're going to do. They're not taking Caleb Williams.
I don't know, man.
They got too many holes. That
I
have
feel like
to
they could
fill
trade
first.
9. I don't know if they're going to trade
I have
1.
a really bad feeling they're going to pick.
I think they're going to pick Caleb Williams. I really do.
I would be so happy, but upset.
I'd be
You know what I'm
happy
saying? Because I could care
Fields,
less. As
He'd
the
actually
Bears.
get to go to a
Right.
team that wants him. And
Yeah.
Fans would support him.
All right, let's keep going. My
Yeah,
bad, bro.
let's. No, it's so good. So
Who was you taking at
we're 3 picks in.
Drake May.
Got taken. So Jalen now has the Cardinals pick. And who do the Cardinals take? Jalen.
Probably Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner. Okay,
It's a high pick.
taking an edge
That is
rusher
kinda
there
That's really high.
over Malik
4?
Neighbors. Is interesting.
Wow.
Okay,
Over neighbors.
so Turner off the board, and that leaves the Chargers pick to Michael. And no pressure, Michael, but you got a Chargers fan sitting 2 seats away from you here, so you better
That defense
better make a
is
good pick.
terrible.
Okay, sure, I got you. Well, I think that they're going to move on from Gerald Everett. I think they're going to pick up the next best tight end in this draft class and pick up Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
out of
Brock
Georgia.
Bowers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either him or Joe Alt. I don't know
Yep,
which
Joe
one.
Alt has been one that I've seen mocked to them a lot, but Brock Bowers is not a bad pick whatsoever.
They need him.
I don't see what's wrong with Gerald Everett. bro.
Nothing's wrong with him.
He's
They
old,
just
though.
need a
He's kinda old.
Younger tight end.
Yeah.
Oh, he's old. I
He's
thought he was
old.
like
His contract's
just
kinda
28 or
large.
something.
Yeah.
According to ESPN, Gerald Everett is just meh.
Yeah.
What does
what they said.
ESPN know?
He's good. I like him. I love Jared Everett. I just think
Sounds like
younger talent, stronger, faster. He's like he's just I don't know. He's just a monster in my opinion.
So there's a lot of different routes I could go here with the Giants. I really don't think Jaden Daniels would be here,
Giants are a mess.
and I feel like if he was here, they would want to jump on him. But before I,
think so.
officially
I don't
make
think
that
so.
pick, I think they need a lot of wide receiver help.
That's what I'm saying.
Malik
Rome-
Neighbors is right there.
Romer neighbors.
Roman,
Adunze.
Roma Dunze, and also Joe Alt. I think that they could easily
Ooh,
pounce on
that's a
Joe
good
Alt
pick,
there.
too.
So there's a lot of different avenues I could take here. I think simply for the fact they have Daniel Jones under contract
That's
for
what I'm
so
thinking.
much
Too
money. They're
much money.
not
They
going
have
to
to
take
do
a
so much.
quarterback.
They have to help him out.
They have to help him out. I'm thinking that they're going to go. It's between Alton Neighbors, but I think Malik Neighbors, if he's there, he's the second best receiver in the draft. I'm going to go Malik Neighbors for the Giants at 6.
I like that.
That's a good pick for them too.
So then it goes to the Titans, and then we were back to Nick.
And he drops right into it.
Yeah.
Joe Alt at a 7, going to Tennessee.
Absolutely.
That's
Joe
a
Alt.
There you go.
Yep.
I would
Will
love,
Levis,
I
baby.
would
That's our
love for
future.
Tennessee.
That's a
Will
good
Levis,
that.
the Mayo Eater gets protection.
Will
He's,
Levis.
he's the best. He's
It's either him or Fashanu in the
I
draft.
would
don't
love
think there's
I would
anyone.
love Tennessee not to pick Alt.
I agree.
Yeah.
That he
I
could
think
slide
that's
to
the
the
best
Bears.
part. I think that's
See,
perfect.
in the perfect world, it's going to be Alt and Harrison to Chicago.
That would be the most perfect fit.
But Chicago.
I don't
seems to
think
never
Alt
get it
falls
right.
to 9 unless Chicago trades back. You know that they would have to keep Fields, but I can't see them keeping
I
Fields.
got a weird feeling about a player trade in the draft.
Interesting. I mean, I just don't like if they trade away number 1, they could get Alt, but then they're obviously not going to have. They're not going to have Marvin Harrison Jr. there.
That's why I'm thinking if they do a player trade, to
Marvin
go-
Harrison Jr. is the best player in this draft.
He is. He's the best prospect I think in the
I
draft
think so,
period.
too.
So
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm excited. I'm getting excited.
get
for this.
antsy.
I'm
We're still 2
ready.
months away, boys.
Right?
We got a long time.
Atlanta is pick 8, and it's back to Brendan.
So I really had my eyes on Dallas Turner and was surprised that you were able to grab him at 4. So I'm gonna have to go with the second best edge rusher in the draft, Laiatu Latu from UCLA. Had 13 sacks this season, 2 forced fumbles, 2 picks. Atlanta's losing both of their sack leaders last year in Bud Dupree and Calais Campbell, and with now Raheem Morris taking control, I think he's gonna go kind of with the defensive mindset, and picking up Latu would be a great young addition to that already good defense.
I think they passed on a quarterback too. Man, it is. Jaden Daniels is falling here on this one. This is interesting. Over to Chicago then, and this is Nazir's pick.
Who did you pick for the Bears' number 1 overall pick? I forget.
Marvin
Pick
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison. Okay. Well, then if they in the perfect world, they probably have to go Fashanu, Penn State tackle, because I feel like that's what they need.
Yeah.
And if he falls that far, then he's the second or third best tackle in the draft
He's
class right
definitely
now.
he's the second one, right? I think
So-
right now.
So
What
I mean,
quarterbacks are on the board?
no one's touching him
Jane
at this point.
Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nick, all of them still on the board. But Jane Daniels is the surprise. He's
I don't see the Bears picking quarterback. I
Yeah.
don't think they need another wide receiver after Marvin Harrison.
if they don't pick Williams number 1, they're not going quarterback.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, Fashanu is probably the best pick unless they wanted
Well-
to double up on wide receiver and get a Duns or what's his name, Rome.
I could see
Roman
them picking
Dunze.
a quarterback in like the
Roman Dunze,
second or third round.
Oh yeah, I'm
Well,
just saying
yeah.
first
But
round,
like
I don't
first
think.
round, they're not
Oh,
going to
yeah,
pick
first
the
round,
quarterback
no,
with
no.
9 if they didn't go.
But if they
one.
wanted to double up on wideouts, they can get the second best.
All right, so Fashanu is picked by the Bears, courtesy of Nazir there, and Jalen then gets the New York Jets. It was a
boy.
great reaction.
An old lineman, maybe, to prevent some Achilles tears.
Dunze?
I was low key. Yeah, I was thinking of Dunze. But then again, I was like,
They do need protection. I mean, protection's why Aaron Rodgers is not on the field
yeah,
this
that's
year.
why he's not on the field. So I was thinking more like, what is his name?
Fuaga,
No, it was the other one.
Latham, JC Latham.
Fuaga and Latham
and Latham
are
are
the
like the only
top
ones.
2 there.
Yeah. After all, yeah, it was. I was like, it was that Latta.
Amarius Mims is also
Yep.
there from Georgia.
I was also looking at Jared Verse too.
So you're going Latham?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing? J.C. Latham for
I like that
Alabama.
pick.
Yeah.
All right, so then Michael gets the Minnesota Vikings.
Ugh.
Oh, I have the Vikings.
You have the Vikings.
Sorry.
Oh, I did research on the Broncos. My fault. But so is Jaden Daniels still on the board?
Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels is still on the board.
Well, if he falls that far, I think that they're going to take him. I've heard that they want to move on from Russell Wilson. I don't think there's any other reason why they wanted to
No, it's
bench him
that.
for the last 2
It's the
weeks.
Vikings. The Vikings here for not the Broncos.
Oh, well, I think that they're in the exact same situation.
They wanna move on
they're
from
gonna
Kirk
they're gonna
Cousins?
move on from Kirk Cousins, so they're gonna jump on Jaden Daniels, I think.
Okay. So Jaden Daniels finally off the board at 11.
Stays in purple.
And as somebody who had the Broncos there, it's a perfect pick, just picked right out from me there.
You got another one sizable. I hope you jump on it.
I mean, Denver, like, this is when I think it'll be dangerous for J.J. McCarthy. I actually think that J.J. McCarthy could start going in this range. I've seen a lot of mock drafts saying that J.J. McCarthy's going to go in, like, the 11 through, like, 13 range. You know, I don't know about that. I don't like that as if I was in any of those spots, but I don't know. I just think that Denver is, no offense to anybody who's a Broncos fan, but I
Yeah,
think
I'm a
Denver's a
Broncos fan.
stupid
Yeah.
franchise.
They're
as far
not
as-
stupid.
I just think that they take too many chances on quarterbacks, and I think that
Well, we
they
ain't had one
Keep
since
Russell.
Peyton Manning.
Keep Russell Wilson. Keep Russell Wilson.
keep Russell
We've been
Wilson
in
would be.
purgatory.
They're either going to, in my opinion, they're either going. If they don't go quarterback, they're going Arnold here at cornerback. I think that's
I like
That's a
they,
great-
they
great
need
decision.
cornerback.
Him and Surtain next to each other.
I
but-
think they keep Russ.
That is their
That'd be tough.
best. That is their best option. What I think they're going to go is I think they're going to draft J.J. McCarthy, and I think I'm drafting J.J. McCarthy for the Broncos
Oh,
because we're
keep Russell
trying
Wilson.
I could see
I,
that.
There's no
again,
reason
this
to
is
get rid of Russell
this is
Wilson.
me. This is me picking as if I were the Broncos. I think that they're done with Russ. I think Russ is done with them after they said they're going to release him.
He said he wants to
win
finish
2
there.
Super Bowls in the next
He said he
5
wants to
years.
win 2 in 5 years. He said
Okay,
he said
good luck with that,
he
buddy.
committed to them, and he wants to
Russ
stay.
is gone.
I think he's gone, and I think they're going McCarthy. I just think the Broncos are going to reach on a quarterback.
Well, I got my pick stolen. I was gonna go McCarthy to the Raiders.
You still got Bo Nix out here.
So I'm thinking either Bo Nix or Terry and Arnold. That's so tough.
Bo
because
Nix to the Raiders, you said?
It might. You know what? Let's just.
I hope not.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go Terry and Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama.
See?
Good.
I
To
think
the
that would be a
Raiders.
That'd be
great
big.
pick for the Raiders. I think Aiden O'Connell could actually, with some development, be an okay quarterback. They really liked him out of preseason last year.
They liked him when he came in. For
Yeah.
DMG.
So I don't know if they'd give up on him that quickly, but
He beat Mahomes with like 40 yards.
right.
I'm so curious
exactly.
on what you got from New Orleans.
So Brendan
Yeah,
gets the
that's tough.
Saints here in cap purgatory that is New Orleans.
So, especially with Ramchek's knee problems and stuff, I think they go O-line here. Third best tackle in the draft, Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma, 6'7", 328, only allowed 1 sack in his college career. I think that'd be tremendous help. That team has a lot of holes and not a lot of money to fix it, so they definitely need to fill in the draft. And one of the biggest things that I look for teams to do through the draft is build O-line, build O-line, build O-line. It's not the sexy pick per se, but it's what you have to do, and I think
Guyton.
Guyton's good.
Over Fuaga and Mims. Interesting call.
I like his like size, like his
Yeah.
physical characteristics. 6'7", 330. And like I said, I really was intrigued by the statistics of only allowing 1 sack throughout the Big 12 in his career. Is
Better prospect, yeah.
kind of crazy. So I like Guyton for New Orleans there. O-line.
All right, that leaves Nazir with the Colts pick at 15.
I think they're going to go with defense on this and get Latu from UCLA.
I think he got drafted
got
already,
drafted.
yeah.
Oh, he got drafted
Yeah.
already? Oh, jeez. Okay. Is Rome still on the board?
I don't think anyone took it.
Roma Dunze is still on the board.
Okay, well, with
I like
Anthony
that.
Richardson and keeping Michael Pittman, hopefully they keep Michael Pittman.
They will. He won't be too pricey.
They're going to
Down with
franchise
Dunze.
tag him if
With-
anything
With the
else.
Dunze, I think that's probably their best bet. Either, oh man, I could go defense still with Dallas. Is Dallas Turner still on the board?
He took him at
No.
4.
No, Dallas Tenor got taken away.
Okay, yeah, I'll roll with the Dunze.
Okay. Dunze then for the
Dunze.
Colts. We're about halfway through this. After this pick, we're going to have to start rifling through these to make sure we get finished on time. But Jalen, you're at number 16. You got Seattle.
Jared Verse,
Good pick.
Oh, wow.
Jared Verse.
Good pick.
Okay.
Florida State.
Nice.
That dude was crazy
The Seminole
all season.
edge rusher. All right, Michael, you have the Jaguars at 17.
All right. I think if they're moving on with Calvin Ridley, so they can get more draft compensation. And they're going to take Brian Thomas out of LSU.
Okay. Brian Thomas, 2 wide receivers.
I think
LSU going right off the bat here. I think this is an easy pick for Cincinnati at number 18. Fuaga's still on the board. Easily going to go Fuaga. They need O-line. Joe Burrow, they want to make sure he doesn't get another season-ending injury. So Fuaga, they scoop a O-lineman right off the board. So Beck,
I like the Rams to pick up Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson.
that's a big need for them.
Over Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid McKinstry. They would just pick Kool-Aid just for the name.
That's what I'm saying.
Kool-Aid.
The best in
Wiggins is
football.
projected to be the better prospect overall right now, but Kool-Aid McKinstry is right there with him. So, but
That who you took? Kool-Aid?
no, he
Wiggins.
took Wiggins for the Rams. So 20, Brendan, you get the Steelers.
Not a Steelers fan, and this is definitely a Steelers pick. I think they go Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, okay, interesting.
If they don't end up getting Fields, I'd like to see Fields go to Atlanta.
Or
if he does
Russ.
leave Chicago.
Or Russ. Russ is a possibility
but
for them
just
still
the
too.
definition of a Pittsburgh Steelers pick here would be going quarterback, and Bo Nix just seems like a pick that they would. Something tells me they're just gonna mess
Mhm.
around and take another QB this year.
All right. Bo Nix off the board, 4 quarterbacks taken in this first round. Nazir, and he gets the Dolphins here at 21.
I think they're gonna take. If he's still on the board, I think they're gonna take Mims from Georgia, the
Yep.
tackle.
Amarius Mims is still
I
on the
think-
board.
I think they need a tackle. I think that's probably gonna be one of my favorite picks if they pick him. So
If he falls, then that would be a great pick.
yeah.
Jalen, you got Philly.
They've been getting torched over the field on DB, so I'm going to take Terrion Arnold.
Oh, they already.
Yep, Arnold's already got taken.
Oh, then I'll take Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid McKinstry to
That
Philadelphia.
actually sounds like
He
a
would-
Philly pick.
Yeah,
Yep.
he would fit perfectly there.
They were getting
You would fit that
torched.
system.
they DBs got torched all season.
Michael, you get the Texans at 23.
It's a tough one.
Okay, well, that's exactly who I thought they were going to get, so I'm going to need to make a little change last second here.
There are some cornerbacks still on the board. Some top
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell still on the board.
Kamari.
He's tough.
I don't
Lassiter?
know. Okay, all right. I think that they're going to go with edge rusher Chris Braswell of Alabama.
Okay. Chris Braswell going to Houston.
Yeah.
That leaves me with Dallas here. Dallas, they could go a lot of different places. They're losing O-line. They also could probably use another corner. But I don't know. I think Dallas is going to go O-line. I think that's what they need the most. And so I'm going to say that one of the best guys out there left from Washington, Troy Fautanu. I think that they go with him for Dallas. So we get to the Packers pick.
With the 25th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers will select Johnny Newton, defensive lineman, Illinois, 6'2", 295, to bolster the pass rush for Jeff Hafley's new 4-3 scheme defense.
Johnny Newton off the board.
I like it.
It's the most Packers pick ever.
I feel
Yeah.
like they're gonna pick a lineman. I don't know.
Interesting.
We get to Brendan then
offensive
with the
lineman.
Buccaneers.
Replacing future Kansas City Chief Mike Evans, they will select Keon Coleman from Florida State.
That was a good one.
Keon Coleman staying in Florida.
Jump ball wide receiver, a lot of great physical tools, and will be a nice addition for Baker down there.
All right, and then we get to Arizona, and they've already selected Dallas Turner, an edge rusher, courtesy of Jalen. Nazir, who do they get with number 27?
What does Carolina or not Carolina? The Cardinals need. I don't know.
Wide receiver
Yeah,
help.
wide
They need a
receiver.
lot.
Wide
D-line,
Is
cornerback.
Keon Coleman already picked?
Jalen Polk is still out
Keon
there.
Coleman is out there. They do. I mean, Cooper DeJean is a cornerback out there still there.
See for
Quinion Mitchell.
cornerbacks. I was looking at this and Ennis Rakestraw Jr. From Missouri. I thought that was a pretty good one too.
Yeah.
Either that or Keon Coleman, but I'm gonna roll with the corner. Rakestraw.
Rakestraw Jr. going to Arizona. Then we get Buffalo for Jalen.
It's only fitting that I got Buffalo. Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy, D lineman out of Texas.
They need
There he
some help
goes
on
to
that
Buffalo.
D-line.
They do. Michael, you get Detroit.
Oh, damn. About.
Need some corner help.
Okay.
Need some D line help.
I know. Again, I thought they were going to take Byron Murphy. So,
Cooper
Yeah.
John's still there.
I mean, stealing all his
Okay.
picks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cooper
All right.
DeJean is a good cornerback, like I said. Quinion
Yeah,
Mitchell are still
I-
two of the top corners out there right now.
I think, yeah, if Cooper DeJean is still on the board, I think that they might as well take him.
All right, Cooper DeJean escapes not getting out of the first round. So then I got Baltimore. Baltimore, another one that, I mean, they could probably use a corner. They could use a wide receiver. Trey Franklin is on the board from Oregon, but I think that they're probably going to go corner and not take a wide receiver 2 years in a row in the first round. I'm going to say they go Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo.
I got San Fran going with Cam Hart, cornerback, Notre Dame.
Nice.
Cam Hart.
It would have been Kool-Aid, though. That sounds like a San Fran thing. But.
All right, we got to wrap it up quickly with the Chiefs pick here.
Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas, 6'4", gives Mahomes a great target to throw to.
Perfect.
Adonai Mitchell.
Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. All right, and unfortunately, we don't have time for any final thoughts, but thank you for watching Hawk Talk here on 91.7 The Edge, WSCW Whitewater, and on UWW-TV. This was Mock Draft 1.0.
Bellinger's a Cub.
And Bellinger...